One thing we haven't talked about yet is the dish of the wheel, and that measures how well the wheel is going to be centered when we put it in the bicycle. So if I look at this rear wheel here, these are the ends of the axle, and this is what is going to fit in the rear triangle. When the wheel is dished and will be centered in the rear triangle, the distance from this lock nut here to the rim will be the same as the distance from this lock nut here to the rim. And we measure that with something called a dish tool. This is the Park WAG4 dish tool, and it's probably the best one for you to use because you can get it at a very reasonable price, and it's a quite accurate dish gauge. Now let me zoom in a little closer so you can actually see, and I'm going to hold this whole thing in my lap. The dish tool is pretty intuitive to use. This particular one has little feet that can slide back and forth, so you can adjust the dish tool so that the feet will sit on the rim. And you need to be able to do that because not all rims are the same diameter. Now, in addition to that, there's this little slider up here. And I am going to start on this side of the wheel. This may be the correct side to start with, and it may not be, as I will explain in a minute. And I'm going to slide that riser down, that little slider, until it hits the lock nut here, and then I'm just going to snug that with that little nut. So now I have 3-point contact on this side of the rim. I have contact here at the rim, contact at the hub, and simultaneous contact over here at the other rim. So I have 3-point contact at the same time on this side of the wheel. Now I'm going to turn this over and see what it looks like on the other side. Well, if I look at it on the other side, I see that I have contact over here. I have contact here, but at the hub, I have a gap. This slider here is above the lock nut, so I don't have contact on 3 points on this side. When I run into that situation, what I'm going to do is to reset the slider because I want to measure the dish gap, if there is any, at the rim, not at the hub. So I have reset it. I have now contact here at the hub, contact over here at the rim again. So I have 3-point contact on my wheel. And now I'm going to turn this over and see what it looks like on the other side. And I have a gap at the rim, if you can see that. I have a gap at the top of the rim between the foot and the rim, and it looks like a gap of maybe 4 millimeters or something like that. Now, because I don't have the drive side spoke tension as high as I want it, I have it consistent, yes, but it's not at the amount that I want it yet. I'm going to add more tension to the drive side because that's where I want more tension, and that will also pull the rim in this direction and reduce the dish error at the same time. I estimate that I will need to add about a half a turn to all the drive side spokes to bring the wheel in this direction. But that is just an estimate, and we'll see how close I am. So we're going to go all the way around. Whoops, that was a full turn. Just a half a turn using my 4-sided spoke wrench because I want to make sure my nipple, or that the spoke wrench doesn't slip off the nipple. This also is a great tool to make sure that the wrench flats on the nipple are not rounded off, because you get an ideal purchase of the 4-sided spoke wrench on the nipple at all times. So a half a turn to all of these spokes, and we'll take the wheel out and check the dish again, see how close we are to it getting dished correctly, and see how close we are also to our target tension of about 120 kilograms of force. But before I did this, with our reading of about an average of about 21, I think we had about 94 kilograms of force of tension. That's not bad, but it's not as good as it could be. So we want to get it up around 120 or so. So now I'm going to take the wheel out and check the dish, and then also check the spoke tension on the drive side, see how close we are to the target. When I check my dish gauge again, I still have a little bit of a gap right here, which means that the rim needs to come over to the right just a little bit more. So I'll put another quarter turn on the drive side spokes. For just a quarter turn, I think I'm pretty safe with this black 3-sided spoke wrench. Just doing quarter turns, it's not going to slip off doing a quarter of a turn. I am making sure that I get the tool all the way on the nipple though. One thing about spoke tension, once you get consistency in the tension, which we had a few minutes ago, when you add more tension, it only gets better, which is a very nice thing to have. So all the trouble you go to get that consistency, you don't lose it when you add more tension. Okay, let's check it again. Well, let's set this again. Doesn't really matter which side we start with. So I have 3-point contact, 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 and then I will snug this little knob here and turn it over, and we have 3-point contact over here now also. We have contact at the rim on both ends as well as the lock nut in the middle. And so when I have that situation, I have the wheel in perfect dish.